to be with all of you today. My name is Eskamani. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am proud to represent District 47 in the state legislature, which does include the sweet town of Orlando and Pulse nightclub. I am shocked and appalled to even see legislation like this in our body. I actually had the opportunity to see this bill in its first committee stop in the House, not because I'm a committee member of the education silos, but because there was a member who was missing, and I was asked to be the ex officio, and I said, hell yeah, I will be there to defend our LGBTQ plus kids, because I am not just an ally for our community, I am an accomplice, which means I don't just defend and go to pride events and wear my rainbows. I'm going to jail with you if necessary to protect our LGBTQ plus kids, to protect our LGBTQ plus community, because that's how serious these fights are. And I also know that my equality, my justice is tied to yours. None of us are free unless we were all free. And despite Governor DeSantis calling us the freest state in the country, we have to ask, free for who? Free for our women and our girls? Free for our LGBTQ plus people? Free for our people of color? I don't think so. And this legislative session, it is a combination of not just culture wars, but real life consequences for our young people and for our communities of color. Because this isn't just about rhetoric, this is about the impact of policy. And when you actually read the Don't Say Gay bill, as much as supporters want to say it's harmless, it's not a big deal, y'all are overreacting, just read the bill. The bill literally erases sexual orientation and gender identity, not just in primary school ages, but it says or when this is not age appropriate. So we're going to trust Department of Education, who already at the end of last year eliminated their LGBTQ plus anti-bullying curriculum, to dictate to us what is age appropriate. What is going to stop them from saying that ever talking about trans lives, that is never age appropriate? And to conflate this with sex ed is so grossly inaccurate. And folks should remember that Florida not only has a abstinence emphasis with sexual health education, no matter your sexuality, but we also have a system where all curriculum is made available for families to see. So to conflate this with you're teaching about sexual activity to identifying that LGBTQ plus people and kids exist is not only false, but it is grounded in homophobia and transphobia, which is the entire intention of this bill, is to erase people who are different than what the status quo is. And I kid you not, one of the supporters of this bill with these outside homophobic organizations literally said online that it's not called a Don't Say Gay bill, it's called Don't Turn My Boy Into a Girl bill. That is exactly what they think this is. They think that kids are becoming gay or identifying as trans because they go to a school. Guess what? Your kid is already gay. Your kid is trans. And you should love them and embrace them. If you have questions about that, I'm here to help. Let me know. We need to be creating a safe environment for our kids to be themselves, and a safe environment for our parents to understand what it means to be trans and what it means to be LGBTQ+. The last thing I'll say is how dangerous this bill is to outing kids, which was one of my first reactions when I saw the Department of Education remove the anti-bullying curriculum. Because if we don't address bullying in our schools, we already see high rates of suicide among young people. It is dramatically higher for kids who identify as LGBTQ+. So if you're not addressing this in our schools, you are allowing our kids to be in harm's way. And so what this bill does is take a far overreach into even more dangerous territory by essentially forcing teachers, educators, counselors that if a kid looks like they're in a different mood or they look different the day before, you're supposed to report that to a parent. And first of all, there could be a lot of reasons why a kid's having a bad day, which it could also involve an abusive parent. So I would also argue that you are endangering kids who might be experiencing some sort of harm in the home to now tell the parent that a teacher detects that. That's going to put a kid in harm's way. But if you are becoming yourself in school and becoming more open in school, building the courage to tell your parents. Outing that child not only sets them back dramatically, but in a state that hasn't banned things like conversion therapy, which I'm using air quotes because it's not a real therapy, you are potentially putting kids in danger back into a homophobic, transphobic environment where the parent has no opportunity to even understand where the kid is coming from because the kid can't tell their own story. They're hearing it from the school. And if the school doesn't do that, they're going to get sued. So the dangers of this bill are pronounced in every word. And I am reminded of growing up in Orange County Public Schools and meeting my first openly gay friend. And I was one of the first people that he told. And so when I hear stories about our GSAs, I just can't help but cry, because when I was in school, even just 10 years ago, 15 years ago, GSAs were just starting. And that was the first club that I joined when I was a sophomore in high school. And so the fact that we have to still have these conversations now 15 years later is unbelievable, because I thought when I was a kid that we had it bad. And of course, when others were kids, they thought they had it bad. Like, we're supposed to be beyond the point where bigotry enters the classroom. That's what this bill does. So I am proud to stand in opposition to not just the Don't Say Gay bill, but of course to HB 7 and HB 5, which you have on the floor this week. And I really do encourage my colleagues to, instead of creating more problems and more trauma, why don't we support our kids? Let them be kids, let them be ourselves, and let's make sure they have a safe place to sleep at night, food in their belly, a doctor they can go to. There are plenty of issues that our kids need for us to address, like paying for our Medicaid system, that we should be prioritizing in this body, not pursuing a homophobic and transphobic agenda. Thank you.